reach. So that's kind of going to be using every piece. And then the second thing that we're going to do is we're going to use one of the donation websites that we set up yesterday. And we're going to talk about how you can just use the donation forms as your only part of your Giving Tuesday strategy and not have a full website and not have a fundraising campaign. So to get started, you're going to go to GiveSignup.org, and again, you're going to use your same login as you use for RunSignup. So I'm logged in. This is my RunSignup profile and my GiveSignup login as well. I'm going to click Get Started Free, and I'm going to create a donation website. For my donation website name, I have the food bank, and I'm going to customize it to be Giving Tuesday 2020. And this is where I'm going to put my donation website messaging. And for this, I'm just using my nonprofit's basic description. Here, I'm going to put the contact email for my nonprofit. I'm not going to use my own email. I'm just going to use our generic email for questions. I'm going to mark this as a private website. And then down here is where I can have my URL, and that's what's going to show as like givesignup.org/donation website / this custom URL. And I'm going to change this to just be Food Bank Giving Tuesday 2020. I want to specify, it's this year, so you can customize what that looks like when you set up your donation website. This is a one-time customization. If you do need to make a change to this for some reason, you're actually going to have to send an email with your donation website URL to info@givesignup.org if you need to get that changed. So I'm going to pass my processing fees on to the donor, and I already have a payment account set up on RunSignup that I'm going to use for my GiveSignup donation website. Just a reminder, when you are linking a payment account to a race or multiple races and donation websites and ticket events, your payment reports are going to be broken down by where the money is coming from. So on your end, for like accounting and reconciliation processes, those payment reports are going to be very clear about exactly where the dollars are coming from. So it is okay to use the same payment account for multiple donation websites, multiple races. So congratulations, now we have to enable our donations. So this is where I'm going to put in my donation message, which I have prepared here. And I'm going to make this a big bold message at the top of my donation page. And then this is just where I have my Giving Tuesday content. And because I'm making this donation website specific to my Giving Tuesday campaign, I'm going to have my donation message just be like my Giving Tuesday messaging and not my nonprofit's generic donation messaging. So it's going to be targeted to this Giving Tuesday. You can also just open up your donations during the Giving Tuesday period. So here you can actually set up your donation website for Giving Tuesday today. But let's say you don't want to start accepting donations until the 15th. You can customize that here. So let's enable donations and then click into general settings. One of the nice features about donation websites is you can leave them open-ended. But you saw when I set this up, I just want this to be like my website for 2020. And so what I can do is I can actually have an end date for my donations. So let's just say like, I want to keep this open for 1 month. I can just have this be open for a month or a week, whatever you want it to be. I do want to allow recurring donations for my Giving Tuesday website because it's a great time to recruit recurring donors. And then because I have like a donation close period, I want to add a message in case somebody still has this URL and I want them to be able to go to my regular website. So you just want to add something like our Giving Tuesday campaign is now closed to donate. Please go to our regular website. So you can customize that messaging. You can make it look nice, you know, bring in your own source code, whatever you want to do for that. And then here is where I'm going to put my nonprofit logo. Just have one here already set up. And then I can add my different donation levels. So I'm going to add just a few to feature on the website. And do $2.50. So again, I'm offering a range of donation amounts. People can enter their own custom amount, but they are a range from low amounts to higher amounts. And you can add these different donation levels to indicate, you know, how many meals a person is providing. So let's say this is like 25 meals, and this is 100 meals, and this is 500 meals, and this is going to be 1,000 meals. And so then the dollar amount is correlated to exactly what you are providing with that donation. So then we can go into display settings. This all looks good. You probably are going to want to enter offline donations for anyone who prefers to donate by check. So I'm going to copy those over to here. And then let's do enable mail a card. So this is the tribute gift where we're going to collect the address to mail a card to let them know that somebody made a donation in honor of them, or you know, a card to the family to let them know that a donation was made in honor of a loved one. And I think that this is a nice feature, especially around the holiday season. You know, you can give somebody a donation for the holidays. So it's a nice little add-on that we have. Here, I'm good with my personal info requirements for donations. I do think it's nice to get a phone number, but I also don't think it's worth holding up your donors that don't want to give their phone number when they make a donation. So we'll just make that field optional. For attribution settings, I want to add a few others so that people have flexibility to select. And then this is where you can add donation use designations. So if you want to let people specify where their donation should go within your organization, you can add those. But for this campaign, these donations, I'm not going to add that. And then here is where I'm going to enter my tax deductible information. And I learned yesterday that 9 numbers. And then I'm just going to put RunSignup's address here. And then 100% tax deductible. And again, the reason that I'm entering this is that it automatically gets pulled into my donation receipt. We have these little tags, and you'll be able to customize what that text is. Okay, so now we've set up our donations. I want to next go into, actually, let's go into my notification. I don't think I mentioned this yesterday. So these are notifications for your donation website, and there's 2 that exist right now. There will be more that get added at some point. But the first one is donation made. And so for this one, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to customize this with your own Giving Tuesday thank you message. So let me change that to just paragraph text, and then thanks for supporting food bank this Giving Tuesday. You'll see up here that there's these little percentage things that's pulling in data from your donation website. So this is going to automatically pull in your logo and center it at the top of the notification. And then these will send the placeholders. You can send yourself a test email. Just understand that there is no real data when you are sending yourself a test email. So the placeholders are going to just pull in data that looks weird about a made up donation. That's not going to be what your donors actually see. It will pull in the data that's relevant to their donation. The other thing to point out here is that the other donation is for, or the other notification is when a recurring donation fails. So if somebody signs up to make a recurring donation, there's a chance that their credit card could expire at some point. And so if that does and their credit card is no longer valid, the system will try to charge it. And if it's unable to do so, they're going to get a notification that their recurring donation failed. And you'll also have a report for recurring donations list, and it's going to indicate the status of that recurring donation. So it's a really nice balance between the donation website taking care of things automatically and sending out automatic reminders. And then you're also going to have that report that gives you the status of recurring donations. And so if you want to reach out with a phone call or an email to one of those recurring donors, you'll be able to do so. So in that notification, there's going to be a secure link for the donor to update their credit card information and update their recurring donation information. As the donation website creator and admin, you will be able to stop a recurring donation for any of your donors. So if somebody calls and says, stop charging my card, you can cancel that recurring donation from this report. What you will not be able to do is you cannot change the amount. And obviously that's not up to you to change, it's up to the donor. And the good thing is the GiveSignup platform makes it very easy for people to manage and update their recurring donation information. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to add a cover page. And so when I was demoing yesterday, I think I put together quite possibly the ugliest color theme in the entire world. And so I'm just going to choose one of these that Darren came up with because he has better taste than me. So I'm going to change it to the purple theme. And then I'm actually just going to use the same logo that I used for my donations. And I'm going to save that. And then I'm going to come to cover page and I'm going to turn on a cover page. So I'm going to add a header image, and you can add one or multiple header images. So for this one, I have a downloaded image that I made ahead of time, and I'm going to upload that. And one of the nice things you can do with cover pages is I showed some examples yesterday of a cover page where I displayed the image without cropping and I didn't have an overlay color. But for this one, I'm going to have an overlay color to it. So that's going to look like this. If I decide I don't like how that color looks, I can switch it easily. So this is with purple, this is with white, and those options are just based on the color theme that you chose for your donation website. And I'm going to add a title to this. So I'm going to say support the food bank this Giving Tuesday. And I'm going to add a bold call to action, which is to donate. And I'm actually going to make that one purple. So the nice thing about customizing this is you don't need to know how to code. You just enter your content and then you can kind of play around and get a preview of what this is going to look like. You can save it. And then I'm going to click out here and view it. And I like how that looks. It has this bold call to action and I have the donate button here. If I decide that I hate that, I can just go in here and this is an edit icon. So I can, change anything that I've done. With this, you can also add additional content to your page. So some of the stuff that you may want to add is a video. And I think a video is really nice for your Giving Tuesday website because it gives you the chance to make like a short 1 to 2 minute appeal to your donors about why they should be donating to your nonprofit this Giving Tuesday. And it's content that you can recycle. So you can use that video to share on Facebook. You can use it in an email that you send out. And you can also host it on your Giving Tuesday website. And I think that's going to be really powerful. It could be a message that comes from the executive director of your nonprofit. It could be something that comes from a beneficiary of your nonprofit. But basically just a really condensed, short, concise message about why people should donate to your nonprofit this Giving Tuesday. I think video works really well. It's something that we recommend our virtual events do. So an in-person event converts to virtual, make a short video and talk about why you're doing that. And if you have someone like Andrew Sigwart on your team, you can have them make it look pretty nice. But to get that video, you can just really easily upload your video to YouTube. Like you can just film it on your like iPhone and then save that file, upload it to YouTube. And then once you upload it to YouTube, you can just paste that URL from your YouTube video here. And you can also add a title to this. So why you should donate to the food bank. Or I'll just change it to donate to the food bank this Giving Tuesday. So you can save that. And then you have a place to host your video on your website. And it's just nice because it plays right on your website. It doesn't like redirect you to YouTube or anything. And again, it's just content that you can continue to recycle. Another nice thing is you can create more content for Giving Tuesday. So you can add ways that people can support you. So you can support us all year round, and you can add custom buttons. So one example is you could encourage people to volunteer for you, and you can direct people to your volunteer website where they can sign up for volunteer opportunities. And that may just be within a race that you have, and then maybe later this year, next year, it will be on the GiveSignup volunteer platform, which is going to come at some point in the future. But the nice thing with a cover page is you can just add this additional content. So we appreciate all volunteers. And then for here, I'm going to say host a virtual food drive. And this is just going to be branded as a type of fundraising campaign that people can do. So we're going to come back here and add in the actual Become a Fundraiser campaign for this virtual food drive once we create it. So support us with a virtual food drive. And I'm just branding my fundraising campaign as a virtual food drive, kind of tying it to my mission and Giving Tuesday. But here I can just have these other calls to action. So if people aren't going to donate to my Giving Tuesday campaign, they can also do these other actions. And I have to enter it with this. So save that. And then the other thing I'm going to add to this is going to be, I want my social share icons to show on my page. I'm just going to call this section social media. And I'm going to have the background be a nice blue color. And I'm going to say, support us on social media. And I'm going to save that. And now I have my website. So I have my video content, I have my additional calls to action, and I have my social share icons. And then if I want to move anything around, I can just drag and drop. So I can change the order really easily. So then that shifts and my video is now down here and my custom content is up here. Okay, so that is how I would design a donation website for my nonprofit's Giving Tuesday campaign. And you'll notice here, it's not showing my donate call to action. And that is because we are not opening donations until the 15th. But if we want, I forget what today is. Okay. So we can just change that and make it open now. And so we'll see that donation here. It's really clean. It's got my branding on it, and people can easily make a donation that's one time or recurring, and they can, send a card to the person that they're honoring with their gift. And we also have my offline payment instructions featured here. So that is my main website. And the benefits of doing this is, number one, if your website is difficult for you to update, so it's hard or it costs money for you to add your Giving Tuesday campaign information and content to your regular website, you can just create this as your Giving Tuesday hub. Two, if you are offering like a lot of different options for Giving Tuesday, like you want people to be able to donate or volunteer or fundraise, this is a really nice place to keep that information, and you can have these different calls to action. So those are really nice options. So for my nonprofit, I also want to send out an email, and I want to ask people to give to my Giving Tuesday campaign. But instead of directing them to this website where there's a lot of stuff for them to click on, I'm going to actually just create a donation form. And this is going to be a form that I use in emails. So it's my Giving Tuesday. We're going to call it, we'll call it Giving Tuesday 2020. And again, you can designate when your donations are going to be accepted during a specific date range. We'll also enable the mail-a-card text. And for this, we'll just offer one-time and monthly recurring options. And my donation message is right here. And after people make a donation, they're going to be directed back to my donation website, which is my Giving Tuesday campaign hub.
And Allison, we did have a question about this one. Where is the info for mailing to people who have been honored by a donation?
Mm-hmm. Sorry, what did you say?
I said we did have a question about this one, which was where is the info for mailing to people who have been honored by a donation? So just to maybe clear up.
Okay, yeah, I'll show you the report in a second.
Thank you so much.
All right, and then I'm going to keep my donation levels the same as my other main donation website, and I'm going to save that. And now I have a donation form. So I can open up the donation form here, and you'll see that it's just a cleaner branded version of making a donation. I don't have any links or URLs that are distracting at the top. So it's a very targeted call to action. And you'll see here that I've only offered these two giving options, so people can more clearly choose like one time or monthly, or I could just have this be like an annual type of giving option. So it's really flexible, and you can design one or an unlimited number of donation forms. But for this nonprofit, the reason I want to use it is for my email campaigns, because I think it's much cleaner. So the question of like what happens with this data when somebody wants to mail a card, that goes into a report. Donation dedication list, sorry, there's not much functionality yet, and I'm already like, there's too much for me. So it's going to go into this donation dedication list. So your nonprofit's going to be able to see a link to the donation that was dedicated, and then you'll have the honoree's name and the date of the donation and their mailing address. So you can choose which data you use from this, but that's what will give you their mailing address to send that card to them. Okay, so for this Giving Tuesday, we're going to do a campaign to do a virtual food drive. I know that fundraising isn't always like what people do on Giving Tuesday, but I think if you come up with like a campaign and you kind of cross promote it with your Giving Tuesday messaging, I think that is great. So for this one, it's a virtual food drive, and this is our campaign messaging. So we're going to erase the default messaging from my donation website and then just have this simple campaign messaging. I'm going to allow people to set up fundraisers, and they can set their own dates of when it begins and when it ends. And we can change and add a different logo. Just going from what I have here. And so I'm going to use this weird apple again. And we'll finish and save. And if we go into here, we can actually add a donation goal to this campaign. So let's say my goal for my virtual food drives over time is $5,000. So I'm going to save that. Oh, actually, I want to show my goal progress as well. And then these other tabs are just where you can customize your donation information, your attribution settings, so where you have on behalf of options, in memory of, on behalf of. And when I did that yesterday during the demo, I broke GiveSignup, but fortunately the developers got a notification because of that error and it's fixed today. So that's great. And then these are just the donation options that people can see and choose from on these fundraising campaign pages. And then go back to here. So that's all set up. And the only other thing that I can do to make sure that my fundraising campaign is successful is I will link my Facebook fundraising page. And I don't know of a food bank Facebook page off the top of my head, so I'm going to link Semper Fi Fund's page in this because it's saved there. And I'm going to save that. And so that means that anyone who creates a campaign and becomes a fundraiser for my virtual food drive will be able to create a connected fundraiser for the Semper Fi Fund. So let's go back here. And I have my URL for my campaign, so we can actually see the virtual food drive campaign and people can become a fundraiser. So, oops, what we're going to do is we're going to copy this URL and we're going to go back to my cover page because remember we set up a section for host a virtual food drive. And I'm going to have this button go to the campaign page where you can become a fundraiser. And so if we go back to my donation website, if somebody clicks the fundraise button, then they'll go to this campaign page. And someone can click become a fundraiser. And right now, just as an individual, before Thanksgiving, they will be able to create teams as well. I'm going to put my date as 10. And we're about to release default fundraising page options. I think Alyssa and Andrew are actually on this session right now, so maybe they can give you an update on the timeline of that in the chat. But that means that you'll be able to pre-populate this page with a suggested goal and a suggested message that your fundraisers will be able to edit when they create their fundraising page. And then you can upload an image. Do this little basket. And scroll down here and create fundraiser. And now my personal fundraising page for the virtual food drive has been created. And I'll be able to link my page to Facebook fundraising to connect it there. And then that's great because then you have my data as a fundraiser. I have this nice looking page to have all of my donations show, create my own messaging, and I also get the power of Facebook fundraising to reach donors and have all that data sync back to here, which it does sync now because Andrew fixed the caching issue. So instead of waiting 5 minutes for your donation to show up on your page, which was what was happening yesterday, those donations are automatically going to show up and count towards your total fundraising goal. So that's great. Working out the kinks still, but it's on a good track. And then the nice thing about this is I can easily go back to my campaign page. So this is my campaign home, and you'll see my fundraising page is now featured here. And then from the campaign page, I can just go back to my donation page, which is my Giving Tuesday hub for the food bank. So that's an example of how you're kind of using all the pieces of GiveSignup for your Giving Tuesday campaign. And the nice thing about GiveSignup is that donation websites are built in a very flexible way. So you can decide to use them for a campaign, or you can decide to have one website for your nonprofit and then create campaigns within it. So you have flexible options here. So the other option that you have is, let's say you don't really want this whole website, it's not necessary for your nonprofit. Yesterday, we created this website for the nonprofit that I worked at in Tanzania. And they had their own donation website. I think we were hiding actually, let's go back and hide that donate button. Go to display settings. Yeah, so they have their own website and they have their own donations platform, and they just want to use GiveSignup to host and promote their different fundraiser campaigns. And so they just have this like very basic fundraising hub, and people can, fundraise for a campaign. And apparently I'm on my way to my goal. So for IFT, they want to have a Giving Tuesday campaign, and they just want to do that with a donation form. So they already have one for Provide a Scholarship, but they're going to add one for Giving Tuesday. And again, they can specify when that campaign is going to last. We'll do mail a card, and we'll just do one-time and monthly donations. And then I'm going to grab my message from here. And then after somebody donates, I'm actually going to have them go to their page. So I'm going to copy their main website, and they're going to go back to here. And then as the logo, you can choose the nonprofit logo, like I have their little logo from yesterday here, or you can choose one that's specific to Giving Tuesday. So I'm just going to reuse this basket. And I'm just going to keep the same settings that I have set up for my donation website. We're just going to automatically apply them to this form. And so now they have a form that they can use in their emails as a call to action to give to the Giving Tuesday campaign. And that just looks like this. And it's really nice because it's automatically applying their branding and their donation options, which can be customized. And it's also nice because I have my unique messaging for my Giving Tuesday campaign that shows at the top. So it's just really clean and really simple. And then one of the things I can do, I think, is I can actually add, oh wait, hold on. I'm gonna go back a second because I have to copy that URL. No, this is donation forms. So I'm going to copy my URL for Giving Tuesday here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to web page, and I'm going to go to calls to action. And on this website, I'm not using a cover page, but I'm actually able to create a call to action for my donation website. And so I'm going to add a link to my donation form. And then we can come here, and we've added this button to our fundraising hub that says support our Giving Tuesday campaign. And I can click on that, and I'm going to be able to give to that specific campaign. And when I finish that, then I'm going to be redirected over to IFTZ's main website after I make that donation. So it's just another way that you can feature different calls to action. Even if you aren't using GiveSignup as your main donation hub, it just gives you that flexibility to redirect people to other places or to feature a Giving Tuesday campaign. And the nice thing I can do is after Giving Tuesday, if I don't want this to show anymore, I can just go in and delete it, and I can add a different call to action that shows instead of that. The other thing you can do with these donation forms is you can feature them on your race websites. And I think that the reason you would want to do this is if you have like a challenge going on and you want to cross promote a Giving Tuesday campaign or something. So I have this Save the Whales run, and the two ways I can do this are, well, there's three. So the one way I can do this is I can add a like a custom action, and I can have this support my Giving Tuesday campaign. I'm going to go to custom URL, and I'm going to call it Giving Tuesday, and it's going to go to my donation form here. Just need that blue so it pops a little bit better. And we'll save that. And then I can bring this up on my event website and put it even like above my event tiles. And so then here on my cover page for my race, I have a link to my donation form. So that's one way you can feature it. The second way that you can feature this on any race website is you can add a custom section. And it can just be support Giving Tuesday. And for my URL, I'm going to add in my Giving Tuesday URL. I'm going to save that. And then with that custom content, I actually want it to display at the top of my page as a menu item. So I'm going to go into custom content display. And I'm going to say display as a new menu item. And I'm going to save my settings. And then here on my race website, I now have a link at the top of my page that's going to open up a new tab and go to my Giving Tuesday campaign. So I think that this works really well if you have like a virtual challenge going on, because with a challenge, you do have that extended engagement because people are coming back to your site to log their activity on a daily or every other day type of basis over a period of time. And because they're on your website, they're going to see the content that you have here. So linking any sort of campaigns that you have going on that you've set up on GiveSignup, or like a fundraising campaign that's separate from the challenge campaign, you can cross promote that here. And then of course, the other thing you can do is you can take that donation form URL. So you can take this URL and you can use it in an email. So you can just go to an email marketing from any event that you have on RunSignup, and you can send it to all of your participants, and you can ask them to donate. And the nice thing about this is you can like change what your template looks like. You can create different templates. So it doesn't have to be one that promotes your race even. It could just be something different. If you want to create a different email template for like a Giving Tuesday type of email blast to your race participants, you can just go into new email template, and you can just design what you want that to look like. So, or you can create a blank template and bring in your own source code and send an email from RunSignup. Finally, your last option with this is you can copy your donate button code and you can add it into your independent website so that you have a donate button that links to that specific donation form for Giving Tuesday. So I think that's kind of it in terms of your options. They're pretty flexible. You can pick what pieces you want to use for your Giving Tuesday campaign, and you can ignore the others. You can use a mix of donation forms, websites, and fundraising campaigns. But we are really happy to be able to offer this as a free tool to all nonprofits. Because nonprofits, especially now, are looking for ways to save money, and this gives you the tools to be able to collect one-time and recurring donations, and also have a free website and free reporting. And the nice thing about us is that we continue to release new features all the time, so you get to continually take advantage of those features, whether it's free Facebook fundraising or the ability to cross-promote with CRM lists that pull in your donors from your Giving Tuesday campaign to a challenge that you're doing. So with that, I'm going to stop, and I will take any questions or show you anything else that you want to know about.
I think that we've answered pretty much. Oh, someone just popped up a question just now. I'll read it to you. In the financial section, can you direct the donations to be deposited to a third-party nonprofit you are partnering with?
So the nonprofit payment account, like the payment account for your donation website, has to be a nonprofit. So if you're partnering with a nonprofit, you can set it up for them. That's fine. I would just recommend having them set up the payment account. Let me go back here in the wizard. Just choose that setup later option that's here and email to that nonprofit to set up their payment account, or to link an existing RunSignup nonprofit payment account to this donation website.
Great. Any other questions? You can put them in the chat and we can see if they're there, but if not, that might be it.
Okay, well, we are really excited about these new donation websites and fundraising campaigns, and I don't think it's too early to start getting prepared for Giving Tuesday. And Elizabeth and Chris and I are here for any questions as you get started setting up, especially Elizabeth and Chris, and they're the true experts and not me. And so we're excited about that. And then tomorrow, we're going to be doing 2 sessions about virtual challenges. So the first session is going to be Bob and Brian and I are going to present a bunch of case studies. It's not nonprofit specific, but it's super relevant. We're going to go through a lot of creative ideas that we've seen on our platform, and then best practices for marketing and providing a really great participant experience. And then after that, we're going to dig more into nonprofit challenges in a separate Zoom session. And then in the afternoon, Chris and Elizabeth are going to be doing a demo of GiveSignup ticket events. So they'll walk you through how to set up a really simple ticket event, like a Zoom webinar, and then a more complex ticket event, like a golf outing. So we're really looking forward to those presentations and hope to see you guys there. And thanks for coming. Bye.
Thank you all.
Thanks, everybody.